Hi, my name is Mary Higgins, and I'm here today with Marko, and we are talking about work in the year of 2030. Okay, so to summarize, the World Economic Forum has collaborated with the Boston Consulting Group and has released 8 futures of work scenarios and their implications. They've considered 8 distinct scenarios on what work might be by 2030. These 8 scenarios are based off 3 of the most impactful and uncertain variables which will affect the future of work. These 3 variables are the rate of technological change, the evolution of learning in the workforce, and the magnitude of talent mobility. Taking this information into consideration, there are many ways that this relates back to our class and in our futures.
How old will you be? Will you be working in 2030?
Yes, yeah.
How old will you be?
I would be 31.
Okay, so you're going to have to really prepare. And Marko?
Yeah, I'd also be 31.
Okay, so this is real for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
So variable 1 involved technological change. This basically means that with development in data science, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and so much other advanced technologies, there will be a major impact on labor markets in the next 10 to 15 years. There are 2 possible outcomes to consider, both steady and accelerated. The steady outcome assumes that the change will proceed at the current rate with a large-scale automation of routine tasks, but with higher skilled tasks remaining untouched. And the accelerated track assumes that in addition to routine tasks, machines will be more capable of performing non-routine tasks requiring cognitive skills as well as a wide range of physical tasks.
An example of what you mean by that? Accelerated?
Oh wait, it's not going back to it. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
The accelerated basically be like machines becoming more prevalent. Wait.
Okay.
Becoming a lot more relative in day-to-day workplaces and being more highly skilled, therefore pushing workers out and having workers have a hard time competing with those machines.
So basically, steady state would be like the smartphone is about 6 years old right now, 5, 6 years old. So it would proceed on. We went from basically voice and texting to a smartphone, took 5, 6 years. So that's sort of the steady state. Accelerated, it's going to move even faster than that.
Yes, yeah, basically. It would assume that by 2030, the technology would be so much more quickly developed and it'll be harder to keep up with that technology. And then for variable 2, that is the learning evolution in the workforce. So with that, we're seeing a much larger challenge with the attempt to ensure workers have the skills to support the need for transitions into new jobs. There's a very large growing demand in expertise in advancing technologies, which is requiring consistent training. In order to keep up with these skills, the need for training and technology is very much there. But it's hard for companies to maintain that, and it also gets really expensive. So there's hope that people will be able to learn how to quickly train themselves and acquire these skills. So there's also 2 outcomes that are considered for this. There's the slow outcome and the fast outcome. For the slow outcome, many workers that are displaced will compete for fewer roles that will match their skill sets, while companies will continue to face increasing talent shortages. And then for the fast outcomes, talent gaps will lead reforms in education systems, and companies will have to invest a lot more in reskilling and training their workers, meanwhile trying to maintain a healthy and creative workplace.
So will you still have to learn what you're learning now, just learn more?
Yeah, basically the overarching thing is just that technology keeps changing so quickly that it's going to be hard for companies and for workers to stay on top of that and get the skills to work with that said technology. So it's really important for employees to have the ability to learn very quickly and keep up with the current advancements.
So it's almost like we're doing this class in 6 weeks. It's normally done in 15, and we're covering everything I would have covered in 15 weeks. So it's
Yes,
going to move fast like that.
and being able to stay on top of all that.
Okay. And then if I were to teach it over intersession in 3 weeks, it would be even more intense.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it would create a lot more time needing to be dedicated to it, therefore a lot more money put into it if we were a company.
Do you think it'd be easier to do it in a shorter period of time, like we're doing the 6 now instead of over a semester?
I think it depends. I think with 6 weeks, it definitely is a lot, but if you are able to manage your time properly around like any other type of schedule, like a work schedule, but with school, like it's twice a week and you're working on it twice a week and working on it outside of class, but there's also other classes. So I'd say it's just about the same unless you're taking other classes as well.
Okay.
And then for variable 3, we go into the magnitude of talent mobility. This goes over workers' movement within and across borders. They will be affected by a lot of different factors, including economic opportunities, travel regulations, crises, and conflict. There's 2 possible outcomes, and they're both low and high. The low outcome is both national and local governments will have to impose restrictions in order to protect jobs in the short term. There will be talent shortages that will impact economic growth. And then the high outcome is large-scale movements of people searching for better opportunities will become the norm, and high-skilled workers will begin to distinct themselves from others.
Question for both of you guys. Do you see yourself as being mobile, moving anywhere in the world, and going through 5, 6 jobs in your career?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've already looked at one of my cousins. My whole like a bunch of my family lives in Croatia, and he actually works at a bank in Greece right now. And he was asking me for like a potential job after I graduate. It's
Okay.
EBSC.
That'd be great.
That, yeah.
Yeah, same with me. A lot of my family lives in Ireland, and last summer I actually almost moved there to work at an internship there, but I decided against it. But I definitely have thought about it in my future to possibly go over to Europe and work.
Yeah. Do you think it would be easy, hard, or exciting?
I'd say a mix.
Okay.
I mean,
It's hard
it
to
kind of
adopt
depends.
and move somewhere where you don't really know anyone, but once you get the hang of it, I'd say it's exciting.
Great.
Yeah. Like if it was in Croatia, that'd be fine because I could speak the language and I have a lot of family there. But if I were to move to a country where there was like a big language barrier and I didn't really know anyone, that would be difficult. But if it's like a country where all my coworkers pretty much speak English, I wouldn't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so now we're going to go over the 8 future work scenarios. So these 8 scenarios are made up of a combination of all the variables listed above. So whether they happen fast or slow, it's high or low, or accelerated or steady. So workforce autarkies, nationalist economies that aim to be self-sufficient, mass movement, both lower and higher skilled workers search for better opportunities, robot replacement, technology and machines advance rapidly while many in the workplace are unable to keep up, empowered entrepreneurs, this is highly skilled and motivated workforce leading to a dynamic market for workers to create opportunities for themselves. Polarized work, accelerated technological change, and slow learning leads to large sections of the workforce becoming unemployable. Skilled flows, fast-paced learning leads to highly skilled workforce. Productive locals, accelerated technological changes, and fast learning leads to high demand for high-skilled human workers to work with machines. And agile adapters, strong demand for human workers to complement machines. Sorry, some of the PowerPoint's getting cut off. But yeah.
Okay.
And then how does this relate to what we're learning? This relates to the theory X and Y. In order for people to survive employment in the near future, they will have to have the characteristics of theory Y people. Self-motivation, the ability to take responsibility, and good decision-making are mandatory in the job market that is based on skilled workers and higher standards of learning and experience. And from the management perspective, this relates to the TED Talk you posted about 5 ways to lead in an era of constant change, and that managers will have to make investments and take initiative to develop leaders and skill-based workers who can adapt to new standards of the workforce. So how can this affect our future? This will affect our future because this article puts us about 10 years into the time we're in the workforce. It will be important for us to be able to adapt to the advancements in technology and changes in culture at the workplace. We'll most likely begin to have more coworkers from around the globe. And in order to establish a good team dynamic, we need to work well with people from other cultures and ethnicities. It will also be important for us to be self-motivated and not just get a job and think that we're like done learning. We're going to need to take workshops, read books related to working to our work environment, and overall improve how we are as an employee. It's going to be an important factor in a learning-driven environment.
Great. Um, we have freshmen coming in a couple weeks, and you guys are seniors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So you're going to be leaving us. What advice, based on everything you've learned over the past 3-4 years here in Geneseo, plus this article, and what you've learned about yourself through the reflections, what advice would you give these newly arriving freshmen in August?
I mean, from like the business school perspective, always stay on top of like new things in the market, like learn how to use softwares, learn how to get good with Excel, and don't just like if you want to get into investment banking, try learning about investing on stocks in your own or join the Smith. If you want to do accounting, really look at don't like BS around the financial statements and kind of just like read through them, not really know what you're talking about. It's important to kind of dive deeper than required by most classes. Really have a foundation for what you're learning.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Also, as Marko like briefly mentioned, joining clubs that pique your interest, especially because certain things like that do look good on your resume. And as I'm approaching my senior year, obviously I'm looking into jobs in the future. And if I were able to go back, I definitely wish that I joined more clubs that like were more related to my major, because that definitely helps and that's something you can talk about. And also like it helps with class. Like I know a lot of people that did join like Smith and stuff, and it definitely helped. And time management, very much so.
Time management. That's
Yeah.
great. Any closing comments? Are you excited about this future?
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, me personally, I really like using technology to help me with my work. Like, I remember in accounting 102, we had to do everything by hand, and now that I'm like really proficient in Excel, it just makes everything so much easier. And when you like have a linked Excel and see how everything works out, I find that way more interesting than just doing everything by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think technology can really help, but obviously there are some things that are scary about it, but hopefully that doesn't directly impact either of us.
That's great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.